Nice number one.
The letter assigned to the awning to make it a little easier for you to retrieve your strollers once you come back to the park. We are taking you guys away from the theme park into the world's largest and busiest working movie and television studio. So, with that said, make sure that you're good to go. Use the restrooms before getting in line. They're down the escalators to the right. Once you board the train, there will be no stopping for restroom breaks. Also, feel free to bring all snacks and drinks with you aboard the tour today. You will be spending a significant amount of time with us. You want to be as comfortable as possible. If you're heading up the escalators, make your way back to the theme park. Thank you so much for hanging out this year today at the World Famous Universal Studios Tour. Keep in mind that the next available showtime for Water World will be at 11:45. Then right after that, we have a 1 p.m. show as well.
Once again, we'll be using our only passenger, grab your clear and go. The faster you have a pair of reading glasses, the faster the connection on board.
Hi, I'm Luke, one of the tour guides here at the park. Welcome to the world-famous Universal Studios Tour.
Hi, I'm Alicia. In just a few minutes,
60 years of studio tour history right here on one of our fabulous studio tour trams. Of course, for this adventure, you're gonna need a few things. First of all, you're gonna need to be sat down comfortably, slid all the way over to the right-hand side of the row. Second of all, you need a pair of 3D glasses. If you didn't grab 3D glasses in the load line, now is a great time to raise your hand, wave that hand around in the sky, and grab the attention of one of our studio tour ambassadors. They'll bring you a pair of 3D glasses as soon as they see that hand in the air. So let me check the raised hands going once, twice, thrice. All right, folks, I don't see any raised hands, so that means we're just about ready to hit the road. Finally, if you're traveling with any small children today, anybody whose feet don't touch the floor, now is a great time to move them away from the edge of the tram and center of the aisle. And we are officially hitting the road. Okay, we've got a little bit of music for the drive. Once again, my name is Dimitri. I'm your fabulous studio tour guide, but your driver, everybody, is Jerry. Everybody say hi, Jerry. Fantastic. We're heading out to a movie studio and you already know your lines. With that all taken care of, we've got some safety rules to go over before we really get this party started. So starting off with the screens that say warning, I want to let you folks know the screens that say warning will never ever be in 3D. I promise I will let you know when to wear those 3D glasses. For now, they're not currently needed. However, they are very fashionable. Now, if you need any sort of guest assistance or have a medical emergency, or let's say you drop something of value off the side of the tram, or have any sound or video issues, just reach up and grab that red cord that runs along the center of the ceiling of the tram, and I'll be back to assist you as soon as it is safe for me to do so. Otherwise, during the entire tour, please stay seated and keep all hands, arms, feet, and legs inside of the vehicle at all times. Remember to use that red cord above your head if you need any sort of assistance, and please be advised that there's no smoking and or vaping of any kind during the tour. Today's tour will feature loud noises, sudden tram movements, fire effects, and many water effects, so you're gonna want to have that camera out for some fantastic photo opportunities, but please keep an eye on those cameras so they don't get wet. And finally, for your safety and those around you, please no selfie sticks or flash photography while on board the tram. As we begin our journey, we are officially departing the theme park. Over to your left-hand side is the construction for one of our newest rides, Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift, scheduled to arrive in 2026. And coming up to your right-hand side is going to be our Universal Studios movie poster timeline, extending back to our very opening day. So let's take a look back into history. Universal Studios Hollywood opened its gates on March 15, 1915. That's when our founder, Carl Laemmle, invited the public into the movie studio to see how silent films were made. Now, in those days, guests could walk from set to set and marvel at the new technology involved in filmmaking, but with the need for quiet on the set, the invention of sound in the movies, the classic walking tour ended. Now, this all changed in the 60s under the leadership of company chairman Lou Wasserman, as well as executives Al Dorskin and Jay Stein. The idea of reviving the studio tour came to life when the old Gray Line bus tours originating in Hollywood would make a stop at our gates. And there, well, on July 16, 1964, we began. We sent our first red and white candy-striped glamour trams into the Universal Studios lot for a 2-hour tour holding 67 passengers. And that first summer, we only had 2 guides, 2 drivers, and 1 ticket seller working out of a trailer on Lincolnshire Boulevard. But we expanded with elements like the burning house, which used to be where Fire Station 51 is. And over to your left-hand side is where we used to have the rock slide back in the 70s and 80s. But with all this change that's happened over the years, let's see where the Universal Studios tour takes us today. As we travel, we're about to have the Universal Studios front lot opened up to us. Now, the front lot is where we have the majority of our buildings called sound stages. Now, 80 to 90% of all the filming here at Universal happens in the front lot sound stages, but what exactly does that look like? Coming up to your left is soundstage number 12, one of our biggest and oldest. It was built all the way back in 1928, and on screen are some of the titles that have filmed inside of its walls over the years. Of these titles that you now see on screen, all of these settings, all of these environments were built from the ground up inside this large empty warehouse-like space that you now see on your screen. And as we head a little bit deeper into the Universal Studios front lot, we might even see some of the action, although it is a holiday, so we'll mostly just be seeing equipment. Oh, as we travel a little bit further, we have sound stages 11 through 7. That kind of begs the question, what's been filming here at Universal Studios Hollywood over the last couple of months? And I'll tell you folks, we've had a lot, and I mean a lot of TV series that film here. We've had Hacks from HBO Max, starring Emmy Award winner Gene Smart, and Apple TV series. Luke starred Maya Rudolph. We've had the Ted TV series from Seth MacFarlane, starring Max Burkholder as our main character, John Bennett. And of course, all 3 seasons of Bel Air, the dramatic reproduction of the beloved 90s sitcom, The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, starring Jabari Banks and Ali Sholatin, have been filming out of our soundstage number 14. But even with these large empty warehouse-like spaces turned into all these fantastic destinations, there's still a lot of supplemental material that is needed in order to run a production. If you take a look to your left-hand side once again, you'll notice a cluster of trailers and vehicles. Some of these vehicles even have production tags on them, like this vehicle, this trailer right here to the left of us. It says Hacks Costumes, so we know that Hacks, HBO's Hacks, is working with these vehicles to our left. But with everything built inside the soundstage, there is still hair, makeup, wardrobe, craft services. That's the food that you find on set. That is very, very important because your average work day for a cast and crew is 12 to 18 hours. They are given plenty of breaks, but it is an awfully long time to be on set. So whenever our cast and crew are not needed on set, they report to one of our base camps or our base of operations, which we just passed by. As we travel a little bit further, though, you may have noticed that I've mentioned some non-Universal company names like HBO and Apple TV. But no matter who we're working with, at the end of the day, on or off the lot, our goal as a larger filmmaking family is to bring your favorite stories to life. So whether it's HBO, Apple TV, Disney, Hulu, Amazon Prime, no matter who we're working with, we just love telling you your favorite stories. Now, some of these companies do actually call the Universal Studios lot home as part of our larger filmmaking family, and one of those companies that we're about to pass evidence of to your right-hand side is Illumination Entertainment, behind Despicable Me, Secret Life of Pets, Sing, and of course, the Minions. Another notable company that we're about to pass by the offices of in our production bungalows is Mark Platt's production company, Platt Productions. You might know them for musicals like La La Land, Dear Evan Hansen, and of course movies like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. But while we pass by these historic buildings, I thought we'd take a look behind the scenes with Platt Production and director John N. Chu on the new musical movie Wicked, which has just released in theaters. Here's John M. Chu to tell you more.
You're seeing a lot of behind-the-scenes movie-making magic today, showing you up close how filmmakers, like me, bring our dreams to the big screen. After your tour, the magic of Wicked continues at Universal Studios Hollywood, where you can experience photo ops, and costumes from the film, and fun bites and drinks from Shiz and Emerald City. But first, here's a look at Wiki.
Come with me to meet the wizard. My goodness, Hesby, this is your moment. I'm coming.
If you've got something to see, let me see this. You're good.
Very good.
Okay, PG.
Now, not just modern major players call this area to your left-hand side home, but throughout the golden age of Hollywood, folks like Rock Hudson, Doris Day, Lucille Ball, and of course Alfred Hitchcock worked out of these buildings to your left-hand side. You can actually see Bungalow 5195 to your left, where unfathomable director Alfred Hitchcock worked on a number of titles now passing on screen, establishing a very long-lasting legacy of psychological horror and terror. A little bit further on, we have some of our last front lot sound stages passing by. We have sound stages 25 and 26, where we're currently working on season 3 of Lopez vs. Lopez, starring George Lopez alongside his real-life daughter Mayan Lopez, and a new show from the producers of Superstore out of 26 called St. Dennis Medical, starring David Allen Greer. But we are just about all the way through the Universal Studios front lot, so we'll take a little break from all the hard-hitting, fast-paced facts, because we're about to head to where the rest of the magic happens. As I might have mentioned earlier, 80 to 90% of all the filming here at Universal happens inside of our soundstage walls, but the rest of the filming happens on our backlot exterior sets. And as we turn the corner, we're heading over to the Metropolitan sets. Here to introduce us, once again, my co-host, Jimmy Fallon.
We're about to cross the imaginary boundary onto the back lot, where we have exterior sets for many outdoor scenes. Over the last 60 years, studio tour guests have seen these locations turned into big cities, quiet suburbs, even that guy's hometown. Yeah, that guy. For countless movies and TV shows. This is Universal's Metro Sets.
The Universal Metropolitan sets are 4 acres of city that can play really anywhere in the entire world. And the reason being is because even though these buildings are enough to fool the eye and they'll certainly fool the camera, they don't have a lot going on the inside. If you're curious as to what I mean, take a look to your screens. These shell sets and facades don't really have a place for creature comforts like Wi-Fi or electricity or furniture or plumbing, but they are just enough of a building on the outside to fool the eye. If you take a look over to your right-hand side, you'll see the newly built front of the St. Dennis Medical Regional Center for our new show, St. Dennis Medical, and across the way is the brownstone streets, which were used about 20 years ago in a movie called Bruce Almighty. Let's take a very quick look. So moments previous, when Jim Carrey was inside of the house, that wasn't actually filmed on the Universal Studios backlot at all. But as we turn the corner, we're now heading to one of the most famous fake buildings here on the Universal Studios backlot, and here to tell us a little bit more is Bob Hayden and Leah Thompson of Back to the Future.
Welcome to the Courthouse Square. These sets were used to create Hill Valley and the Back to the Future films.
And they represented multiple time periods, 1985, 1955, and the far, far distant future, 2015. To this day, this is one of the most popular sets on the Universal Studio Tour.
We had a lot of fun making those films here on the lot. I wonder what it'd be like to go back to those days. If only we had a time machine.
Hey everybody, do you think we can get this tram up to 88 miles per hour? See you in the future.
As we head out of our small town center known as Hill Valley, you can actually catch this area more recently as a Bostonian high school known as John Hancock High School in the TED TV series from Seth MacFarlane. Let's take a little look behind the scenes.
Hi everyone, Seth MacFarlane here, and I'm excited to share with you a behind-the-scenes look at my Peacock original event series, TED. It's a prequel series set in 1993. And that means our skilled craftspeople had to build a high school, a house, and even recreate downtown Boston as it looked back in the day, using exterior sets and facades that you're about to see on the tour. But I should warn you, TED is intended for mature audiences only. So grown-ups, tell the kids to go in the other room before you watch. Oh, come on!
Over the years, we've seen our Metropolitan sets dressed up as many cities across the world. You might have even seen this area in a popular reality TV competition series called American Ninja Warrior, where this area played downtown Los Angeles for the semifinals. We have had so much action in this area, whether it's Chicago and the Blues Brothers, whether it's a recent TV series from director Taika Waititi called Interior Chinatown, where this area plays San Francisco. It all really comes down to how you decorate or dress the buildings surrounding us. That's what gives our audience, you folks, any signs of life and clues as to where we might be located. But we're just about ready to head out of the not-so-concrete jungle and on over to our real jungle of Skull Island from director Peter Jackson's 2005 King Kong. So let's learn just a little bit about the wildlife, shall we?
The Universal Tram is winding its way through a very rough, narrow trail in Skull Island, allowing the visitors a little sneak peek at some of the wildlife in Skull Island. In a sense, this is like a mini sequel, a mini continuation. We're just taking the Kong and Skull Island and dinosaurs that we established in our feature film, and this is another day, another incident on Skull Island, using the creatures and the character, for example, as he appeared in the movie.
Now, before we learn anything more about the wildlife, before we head back to Skull Island, a few quick safety reminders are in order. Folks, please take this time to secure your personal belongings, your wallets, your watches, your phones, your keys, anything and everything that you brought with you here today. And please take this moment, especially if you are traveling with small children in your party, small children whose feet don't touch the floor of the tram, please take this moment to move them away from the edge of the tram and towards the center of the aisle. Especially back there at my last row, car 4, if you don't mind moving your little one away from the edge of the tram and towards the center of the aisle. If I can have some help communicating that with my party in car number 4 at the very back of the tram, that would be greatly appreciated. But for now, get those 3D glasses ready and brace yourselves as we return to Skull Island. And please, no flash photography. Ladies and gentlemen, folks, friends, and moviegoers of all ages, that was King Kong 360 3D. Congratulations to those of you who survived. Now, I promise I'll let you know when to wear those 3D glasses once again, but in the meantime, just to check back in with everybody, what did y'all think of that bananas experience back there? Yeah, it was pretty bananas, right? You know, you might have even recognized the works of Weta Effects. They are the team behind some of your favorite digital effects in the movies. Working out of New Zealand, they've created effects in the War of the Planet of the Apes, Disney's The Jungle Book, Avengers Infinity War, and Endgame, and of course they won their 7th Academy Award for Avatar 2, The Way of Water. Not only have they designed some of the most advanced digital filmmaking technology to this day, but we were also seeing some of the biggest IMAX screens ever created back there. So let's take a look behind the scenes on King Kong 360 3D.
With a Project Studio Tour, the audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking in all directions, there's creatures coming at them, they're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side.
Working on a movie, we always know where people are looking. They're looking straight ahead, they're looking at the shot that we're working on.
Here you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions.
Also, one of the things about this ride, unlike the movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts. Because it's one giant shot, and this tram that's driving along through Skull Island is where the camera's from. This ring represents where the screen is 10 meters away. We're really creating about 50 minutes of a feature film. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, and presenting to the audience, it's a hell of a ride.
As we continue on from Skull Island, Universal's history with thrilling and, well, movies that make you scream isn't long and extensive. It doesn't just go back to the early 2000s with King Kong, it goes back to the very early days of our studio itself. And one of the ways we immortalize those famous creature features is with our Universal Monster mural coming up to your right-hand side. This was painted in the pouring rain of February 2019 by world-renowned graffiti artist Tristan Eaton, who is known for his large-scale graffiti murals. Now, the creatures featured here, you have Lon Chaney Jr.'s The Wolfman, Rico Browning's Creature from the Black Lagoon, Boris Karloff's Frankenstein, Elsa Lancaster's The Bride of Frankenstein, and Bela Lugosi's Dracula. But don't scream too much, folks, with seeing those creatures. You gotta save your voice, well, for the voice. Coming up to your left-hand side is soundstage number 30, where we are currently working on NBC's newest season of The Voice. And here to give you a little sneak peek is one of our guest judges this year, none other than Snoop Dogg.
Hey, Studio Tour, it's your boy Snoop Dogg. Did you know that the Universal Backlot is home of The Voice? That's right. We tape right here on Stage 31. Don't miss our incredible new season every Monday and Tuesday on NBC. Now that you've heard the rest, you can hear the best. Who can be with the S and have this on your chest?
Snoop joins The Voice Monday, September 23rd on NBC and Peacock.
As we continue on forward, in front of the sound stages where we filmed The Voice, you have this body of water known as the Hollywood Ocean. 70 years ago, the Hollywood Ocean played the Amazon River in Creature from the Black Lagoon, starring Rico Browning as the Gill Man. And the Gill Man is not the only creature to call this area home. Coming up very soon, where we're heading to next, is the home of the Universal Monster movie. This is known as Little Europe, the second oldest sets here on the lot. We'll visit our oldest sets, the Western sets, in a little bit of time. But for now, as we head into this area known as Little Europe, more recently than seeing it in black and white, you might remember this area in full Technicolor from a TV series starring Kristen Bell and Ted Danson called The Good Place. Let's see if that doesn't reset your memory or ring a bell.
You, Eleanor Shellstrop, are deaf.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, come on. I've never ever seen this.
You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
Well, maybe it's not all that bad.
Hi there. How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
Here in the daylight, Little Europe is colorful and charming. It's downright delightful with all the pastels and the flowers and the charming colors. You know, this area has even been featured in quite a few different Disney productions because, yes, we're part of a larger filmmaking family. We work with Disney all the time. I'm talking about movies like The Princess Diaries 2, Royal Engagement, where this area played the fictional country of Genovia. You might have seen it in the Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. This area is where we first met our main character, Jack Sparrow, to the blacksmith shop, where one of our other protagonists, Will Turner, is working. But here's the thing, folks. even with those two movies, I haven't mentioned the musicals for real, because we haven't talked about Roger and Hammerstein's made-for-TV musical Cinderella starring Brandy and Houston, which used the entirety of our Metropolitan sets. This isn't to mention action flicks like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's The Scorpion King or Night and Day starring Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz. All of these have dressed up this area to be a number of different destinations. It's all about the decorations and the set dressing. But alright, imagine you take away all the bright charming colors. Let's say you film this area in black and white, add in a couple of angry villagers with pitchforks and torches, and you got yourself a recipe for a classic monster movie. Like Lon Chaney's Phantom of the Opera, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which filmed in this courtyard to your right-hand side over a century ago at this point. But I'll show you what this area looked like nearly 100 years ago. Let's roll that tape of Boris Karloff's Frankenstein.
Get out the back. Raise all the men you can, lock the women indoors, and wait for me. I'm ready! Take your torches and go!
Why don't you shoot it?
When we think of Universal, we think of monsters.
Dracula, Frankenstein,
Wolfman, Bride of Frankenstein, The Mummy,
The Hunchback of Notre Dame, The Invisible Man, Phantom of the Opera.
classic films. They're just brilliantly made.
That Frankenstein image, flathead, it's one of the great icons of the world.
That to me was like the essence of the Universal horror film.
I was just mesmerized by these movies.
Boris Karloff, Lon Chaney.
I remember the original Universal Studios Mummy movie really scaring me.
They still ring in our memories now, and we love them.
We do in fact love our monsters, and we don't just leave them in the past. Now, I'm going to take a little aside before we talk more about filming, because if you guys haven't heard, next year in Orlando, 2025 is Universal Epic Universe, the newest Universal theme park. And part of that theme park will be the Dark Universe, entirely dedicated to our monster movies. So if you're a big theme park fan like I am, all I can say is go to your preferred social media of choice and look up the Universal Epic Universe, Dark Universe animatronics, because they've just released some concepts that are pretty mind-blowing, I'll tell you that. For now, though, we are going to take a little break from most of the tour. We film a lot of commercials here on the Universal Studios lot, and a lot of those commercials are for the Super Bowl every year. Now, I am aware, I don't play sports, I don't really know anything about sports, but I am aware there's some sort of football game going on tonight. And I remember for this last Super Bowl Sunday, there was a beer commercial starring Pedro Pascal for Corona Beer. He's sitting in this lovely little town, and then he goes through this like little break in like a forest, and he's suddenly on a beach enjoying a beer. Now, before he goes into the beach area, that commercial was actually filmed just over here to our right-hand side in this little courtyard that we'll be passing. And I just think that's neat. Okay, we're just about to reach the approximate halfway point of our tour, so just a little reminder for everybody to please stay seated, keep all hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, and remember to use that red cord above your head if you need any sort of assistance. The studio is private property, so if you drop your phone or just can't wait to use the restroom, pull that cord and then remain seated at all times. In just a few moments, because it is a holiday here on the lot, we are going to be heading forward into a real-life Hollywood soundstage. But I don't want you to think too hard about that. Don't get too excited. In fact, I know I've been talking for a really long time, so we're going to take a little break from all the hard-hitting, fast-paced facts, and we're going to get some music for the drive.
Time to rock and roll. Bring the noise.
What do y'all want to hear?
Alright guys, this is the blues riff and beat. Watch me for the changes and try and keep up, okay?
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Look at her butt. Oh my gosh, look at her.
Okay, while the music's playing, I just think mushrooms are super cool, so take a look to your left-hand side. We used to have a tree here a couple years ago that died, and so every time it rains, we get these cute little mushroom guys over to your left.
Thank you so much and good night.
Well, alrighty, folks. So, behind me is soundstage number 50. Now, this is one of our newly renovated sound stages here at Universal Studios Hollywood. In fact, it only opened up in late spring of this year, back in May. But it has been on the lot for quite some time. It just recently received a major Hollywood makeover, bringing all the equipment and sets inside into the 21st century, totally ready to go for whatever projects might pass through the area. Now, when it's not a holiday, when there is active production here on the lot, there's something that we as tour guides look for to let us know that there is active filming in the area. And there is a system of lights on the sides of each of our sound stages that it's not very complicated, I promise you, that lets us know if there's filming in the area. And we call them wigwags. A wigwag is any red light that you see on the side of a soundstage, whether it's traffic light style, whether it's just a plain old red bulb, or whether it is a flashing siren style light. That, as well as security guards with little red flags, they'll literally wave you down. They'll chase after your tram if you're making noise in a zone of active production. So normally, once we as tour guides spot these signs, we put this graphic up on the screen that says, "Quiet please, filming in progress," which communicates with you, the audience, that I, as your tour guide, am a little too loud up here on the microphone, and that I, don't want to end up in the background of your new favorite TV show or movie in about 6 months from now. So we will usually hop off the microphone, but in this case, because Soundstage 50 is a newly renovated soundstage, I can talk all I like out here. Although you folks might appreciate the break. For now, once that light turns green, we are going to get exclusive up-close access photography. Immediately to our left-hand side is the production schedule. It says something called Ticket Machine Heist is filming inside of this soundstage, and the call time for when they're usually working is 6 a.m. in the morning. That is very early, and those cast and crew members will be on set usually until midnight with a day, your average work day. But, if the director comes back and we were still in here and the director were to start the scene and maybe call something like action, well, then we would be stuck in here and we become extras in some sort of what looks like a... Okay, folks, I'm sure it's just a little tremor. Hello? Ready for our 60th anniversary. But oh my gosh, we've been through a lot today, folks. So I'm just playing a little music to reset the vibes because, we've bonded. We've been through a dinosaur attack. We've been through whatever that was back there. So I think it's time for us to maybe head someplace a little bit more relaxing. I know, with this music, we have the perfect soundtrack for a road trip up to the beach of Amity Island. Now I'll tell you folks, Amity Island is known for a few different things. It's known for the sun and the sea and the sand and the shark problem. I'll be honest with you folks, the shark problem is really bad, but today is a day of thanks and giving. So we want to make sure that all the sea creatures out there have a lovely little holiday season, as well as us. So what we've done, in order for our local sharks here at Amity Island to have a wonderful Thanksgiving, we have sent one of our divers out into the water. His name is George. He's going to be feeding them a Thanksgiving turkey. So if you see George out there, wish him good luck. He's very brave. In fact, oh, there he is. George, you have the turkey secured, right? No? Yeah, we should probably give him a bigger bird. But you know what, folks? At least somebody's having a good Thanksgiving. So we're going to take this moment to escape with our lives behind this totally safe and somehow totally non-flammable dock full of gasoline. This is where we're actually going to be deep frying our turkey for Thanksgiving later tonight. You can see we have everything set. Oh, that's not exactly... Is that the oil getting loose? Is that... Happens every year. Congratulations on surviving Bruce the Shark. Well done, folks and friends. Now, our Jaws experience here is a great example of what you might call a practical effect here in the industry. And so was our earthquake, the big one. In the case of our Jaws experience, the fire was real, the water was real, the shark, well, that's really anybody's guess. But what matters is that the sequence of events that you just filmed with your phone needs no post-production editing once you play it back. Everything was already provided. So from one practical effect installed in the 1980s with Earthquake to the Jaws with the decade of the 70s, we head back to the 1960s for the oldest attraction here on the studio tour. Here to introduce us is today's show co-host and weather anchor Al Roker. After all, it's his specialty.
Time for my favorite part of the tour, weather. When it comes to film and TV, it is truly a special effect. In fact, to demonstrate how weather effects are created, we debuted our first major attraction here on the studio tour way back in 1968. Welcome to the only part of the backlot with a 100% chance of rain. The flash flood.
As you well know, folks, it never really rains here in sunny Southern California, and even when it pours, it's not exactly what you call, reliable. So rather than waiting around for the perfect storm, we just control the weather. Here's how we do it. Back towards cars 3 and 4, the occasional flash of lightning leads to, boom, thunder from speakers all surrounding us. But what really ties this effect together is the water. Part of it from sprinklers on the rooftops of the buildings surrounding us. And on the top of this hill, to our left-hand side, there's a really big tank of water. And it holds thousands upon thousands of gallons that are all released with just the press of a button. So get ready for some oohs. How about some ahs while we're at it? Nicely done, folks. Congrats on surviving the flash flood. More recently, the 1968, you may have seen this effect in Lady Gaga's music video Judas, or the movie Big Fat Liars, starring Paul Giamatti, Frankie Muniz, and Amanda Bynes. As we pass through the rest of Old Mexico, you might recognize this area from HBO's Season 1 of Westworld, or even Paramount Pictures' Nacho Libre, starring Jack Black. Even further on down the road, we've made it to the oldest sets here on the Universal Studios lot. Welcome to 6 Points, the home of the Western genre. Now, many cowboys, and even cowgirls, and most moseyed on down these streets and earned their spurs. Jessica Simpson in her music video, These Boots Were Made for Walking. Maybe you've heard of John Wayne, Jimmy Stewart, Clint Eastwood. Maybe you've heard of more modern cowboys like Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt as they appeared in Quentin Tarantino's ninth film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But even before those cowboys earned their spurs, back in the days where there were no trams and no tour guides, I'm talking 1915, the original studio tour existed right here. You paid 25 cents for the studio tour. You would walk onto the lot, again, no tramps, no tour guides, and you would sit in bleachers surrounding these sets, watching silent movies as they were made. Because these were silent films, you could cheer for the good guys and boo for the bad guys, or whatever you wanted. But not only that, our founder Carl Lonely wasn't too sure about the whole newfangled movie business, so he also had a chicken ranch here. Now, the trilogy was directed by Robert Zemeckis, but it was produced by Steven Spielberg. So here to give you a little idea of just how long he's been working with us here on the Universal Studios lot. Once again, director Steven Spielberg.
My entire career began with my relationship with Universal Studios just as a high school kid on a tour bus. Remember, in those days, there weren't trams, there were buses called the Grade Line Tour Bus. And I was so excited and thrilled to be on the lot. It was my first time ever on a movie studio lot. And during a bathroom break, I hid in the bathroom. And when everybody left to get back on the bus, I waited another 15 minutes until I'm sure the bus left. And then I had the entire lot to myself that day. And in those days, movie lots were so crowded because all movies were made on film lots. Today they're made all over the world, on location, but most of it was focused in those days, in the 60s, on the film lots. So nobody noticed me when I was going around from soundstage to soundstage, and I really felt, in my own young way, I owned the lot and had the most amazing day of my life.
As we turn the corner, we're going to be checking out some picture cars here to your left-hand side. And a picture car is any sort of vehicle that appears on screen for any length of time. As you check out those picture cars to your left-hand side, this is the approximate 15-minute mark before the end of our tour. So just a reminder for everybody to please stay seated, keep all hands, arms, feet, legs, cameras, and phones inside the vehicle at all times, and remember to use that red cord above your head if you need any sort of assistance. As we're checking out our picture car selections here, we've got selections from both Jurassic Park and World trilogies, the Flintstones, the Fast and Furious saga, and visitors from Paramount Pictures lot, Bumblebee, and a Decepticon police car from Transformers. But as soon as we're done checking out those picture cars, it is time for us to check in to our stay at the Bates Motel. To your right-hand side is the actual sets of Alfred Hitchcock's picture Psycho, directed in 1960. And if you look on up the hill to the original Psycho house, you'll notice, well, we might have company this evening. Now, I don't know if I'm 100% thankful for Norman, folks, but I can at least say we can be friendly with him, so we'll try and invite him to Friendsgiving, try and be real nice, but be sensitive. He's a real mama's boy, the man, the myth, the mama's boy himself. Okay, all right. Put on a brave face, folks. Anyway, hi, Norman! Norman, you are looking awful lonely right now, and I don't want you to feel like you're left out in the cold on the porch here, so we were wondering if we have an empty seat, we have a plate for you. Would you like to join us maybe this evening? Would you be bringing anything along for friends? Oh, the carving knife. I don't know if that's going to do the job. That's a little alarming. Well, you know what, folks, just like every other year, we'll move on forward and try and make things work. But we're moving on from one potential disaster to another. Welcome to the War of the World sets from Director Steven Spielberg's 2005 Paramount Picture-produced film. Here to take you behind the scenes is production designer Rick Carter and director Steven Spielberg.
On the other side of town, 3 more of the alien craft have been spotted, destroying everything in their path. Everyone is urged to stay indoors and away from windows. Go down to your basement if you have one. The United States Army, Air Force, and the Navy have all...
It's like, yeah, to sit down and talk about the War of the World. I thought, what if the 747 gets right when it's taking over? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. Listen, close your eyes, okay? Stand close.
Bobby, get in. Get in.
As we drive the same path as the van in the War of the Worlds, we're heading on up to yet another legendary director's work. As we head on up the road, we're heading into the sets of Jordan Peele's 2022 sci-fi thriller Nope. This is Jupiter's Claim. Now, the sets of Nope were designed by the brilliant Ruth de Jong. You might have seen her recent work in the Best Picture Award winner Oppenheimer, but without any further ado, I certainly hope you enjoy your stay here in Jupiter's Claim.
Movie magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take an impossible notion and bring it to life. This is Jupiter's Claim, the nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky Juke Park. Over there, look into the winking well and have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Share. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? Why? A little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience. Built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. Anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy, fresh frontier town, lies a sinister city. Welcome to the world of No.
Not exactly sure what's making that noise here in Jupiter's Claim, but I think it's time for us to say nope, no thank you, and time for us to get out of here and all that good stuff. But if you have not seen Nope, it's a fantastic film, especially if you enjoy suspense. We are now going to shift our gears and switch our lanes because we are heading inside of Sullivan's Truck Repair Garage, and we're about to embark on a very serious mission. Don't worry, you don't need your 3D glasses yet. You won't need them for a few minutes' time. All I need you to do right now is keep your eyes peeled for some of our Fast and Furious family. Or should I say, Fast and Furious Tramily. Okay, Roman Pierce and Letty Ortiz are going to be meeting us in here, telling us exactly what's going on. This is where things get real, folks. Let's see if anybody's home.
Take this real serious.
Okay, pull into the next bay and we'll meet you in there.
This is what we doing. This is the race day after party. And where the other?
Roman Pierce, FBI, don't move.
Damn.
That's right, party's over.
You know how long I took to iron this shirt, man? I'm not.
You're under arrest right now.
Ladies, just back up a little bit. I got you. It's lightweight. First of all, I don't work for you.
Oh, really? Well, tell me, Roman, who do you work for?
We don't work for nobody. Cop, I suggest you clear out of here, otherwise we can't guarantee your safety.
Guarantee my safety? I'm the one holding the gun.
Yeah, but mine's a whole lot bigger than yours. Hobbs, escort this novice out. Let's go, Cookie Puss. You got an ugly suit on, man. It's cheap.
Somebody out there really pissed off Shaw. It's gonna get ugly fast.
Yeah, don't worry. Lucky for you, our whole family will protect you.
Are you kidding me, Roman? You didn't shut off your phone, bro?
I gotta call you back. I'm in the middle of
See what I'm talking about?
Call you back.
Man.
It was on vibrate. Sean traced us. Ops can't hold him forever. Letty, Roman, we're up. Driver, move that vehicle.
It's about to get real interesting. My Mona Lisa's all warmed up right next door.
Roman, grab your truck. I need you and Letty ready to roll.
All right, my Fast and Furious family, the time has come to put on those 3D glasses. Secure your personal belongings, and remember, no standing or flash photography. Now let's ride.
Which one of you is the witness? Speak now or you all get fried!
This is our turn.
After them!
Okay, guys, it's showtime. Arms, cover the left. This thing ain't moving fast enough. Roman, Letty, hook him up. Now we're moving.
Stop! Look out! You can be the witness, Toretto. We're calling it a day. The witness is mine, Letty.
How about you eat asphalt?
Don't think you're getting away. Call it the cause.
Way to go, Letty. Not gonna happen. Don't worry, I got this. Hit the nitrous.
We're not gonna make it!
Ride or die.
That's right, folks. That is exactly how we roll right here on the world-famous studio tour. Congratulations on completing our grand finale, The Fast and the Furious Supercharged. But with that being said and done, we have done what there is to do and see. So it's time for us to wrap things up for the day and head back home to the theme park with the help of none other than Jimmy Fallon.
Over the past 6 decades, the studio tour has taken guests on an amazing behind-the-scenes look at a movie studio in a way that only Universal can. I hope that you had a great time today, and on behalf of everyone at NBC Universal, thank you for joining us to celebrate our diamond anniversary. Here's to another 60 years.
You know, folks, our 60th anniversary is really something special to us here at Universal because this is where it all began for millions of guests around the world visiting theme parks, destinations, and experiences every year. It started here in the summer of 1964 with our first 2 guides and drivers, but since then we've become so much more. And it's all thanks to the folks who makes it possible. Over to your right, you'll see a beautiful view of our studio with all of our cast and crew members. Over to your left is the theme park with all of our folks out there. And of course, we couldn't have done it with all of the drivers, ambassadors, and guides throughout history. But more importantly, we couldn't have done it without you, the audience. Because without you, the audience, I mean, who would we tell our stories to, folks? Really? I don't know. So I just want to say thank you so much for choosing to spend your Thanksgiving day with us here at Universal Studios Hollywood. It has been such a blast being your tour guide. And hey, if you're one of our annual pass members, well, it's good to see you again, annual pass members. If you're not yet an annual pass member, you can always become one by visiting one of our upgrade box offices or kiosks out in the park or on City Walk. And if you're trying to locate one of those, check out our app, Universal Studios Hollywood. It makes navigating the theme park an absolute breeze. Last but not least, if you liked any of the titles that we mentioned today, any of those titles now scrolling on screen, you can find them all and where to purchase them at www.uphe.com. Well, that's about it, folks. That brings us to the approximate end of our studio tours, and that was a great time to gather up your personal belongings, anything and everything that you brought with you here on the tour today. Don't leave anything behind, and don't forget to recycle those 3D glasses in the silver bins provided once you exit the tram. Please remain seated until the tram comes to a complete halt, and our studio tour ambassadors will open the gates so that you can exit the tram. But until next time, as always, my name is Dimitri. I've been your fabulous studio tour guide. Your driver, everybody, has been Jerry. And as we say here in the industry, whenever we finish a project, well, that is a wrap. Until next time, folks, enjoy your day here at Universal Studios Hollywood. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Bye! Alright folks, looks like a slight update to our exit situation. We're going to have this tram next to us pass by to get some more passengers. So please just take a moment, make sure you have those personal belongings. And you know what? I'll leave you with this one last thing. A little music for the road.